Hi, welcome to this session. My name is Calvin Craig. I'm the Information Access Librarian here at Gaston College. And today I'd like to take a little time to tell you about the resources that we have available to you here at Gaston College. I'm going to do that through a page that will be shared with Mr. Pree that will be put into the Blackboard class so that you can be able to take a look at some of the resources yourself. And these are general resources that can help you out with any class that you have at Gaston College. We have so many things that are available to you from our book collection that we have here. We have 50,000 books that are available for you to check out. To check out a book, we do require you to have a library card, and then you will get a card that you can check out the material that we have. But we're also tied in with other community colleges, and you can have their material sent here for us to check it out to you. And then we also have a lot of ebooks that are available for you, completely available online. Tons of articles from magazine, newspapers, and journals that are available to you. Many streaming videos available to you, and statistical information as well. So we have a lot of stuff that's available for you for your research. And I want to use this guide as a way as a jumping off point to give you some ideas generated to find some good research topics and find information that you need on your particular topic that you're going into. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to talk about the information that's on this home page. First, on the right hand side, you're going to see a little avatar of me, and my email address is here, and I'll be glad to help you out with anything. Just contact me, and we'll be glad to answer any of your questions that you have. We also have 24/7 chat, which is found right here in the home page on this box. And if you need any help with anything, please contact us. May not always get a staff member here at Gaston College, but we have librarians across the state of North Carolina that can help you out. Again, this is 24/7, so it can help you out all through the night if you have any issues or that you're dealing with. So that's available for you as well. In the upper left-hand corner, we also have a link to something called the ProQuest Research Companion. The ProQuest Research Companion is a free thing for you to have access to. You can look at it anytime that you need, and it just gives you good general information on how to become a good college level researcher. Some of those skills are things that I'm going to talk about as we go into the session today and take a look at the resources that you have available to you. But I want to let you know that the ProQuest Research Companion is there for you. And if you want to continue on with an advanced degree, this may be something that you'd like to check out to become a really good college level researcher in any field. Now, up at the top of the screen, beside of our home box is a tab that says selected topics. And when you click it, you're going to get an alphabetical list of various topics that you can conduct research in. But I do want to draw your attention to this link over here to the left called SIRS Issues Researcher. SIRS Issues Researcher is a really great library database that can help you out with finding information. And the great thing about it is it's topically driven. In other words, when you go into it, you're going to see information based on the topic that you're interested in. So I'm going to open that up, and we're going to go into the home page. And the first thing that you're going to notice are graphics that have vocabulary underneath for different research topics, generally displayed right at the beginning are trending topics. If you come up to the upper left-hand corner and click leading issues, you can take a look at topics that are gathered together by particular subject areas. So you have business, civil rights, crime punishment. And if you click on any of those, you'll see those selected topics come back. The other thing you could do is come to leading issues and come down to the last choice, which says all leading issues. And when you click it, while it does show them as trending as the way they're sorted, if you come over to the right and click A to Z, you're going to have a huge alphabetical list of tons and tons of different research topics. So if there's a research topic that's related to a particular career of interest that you're going into or a particular education that you're doing, you can select that particular topic if you need to. And the great thing about it is, if you're not really familiar with the topic, maybe you've heard the topic name, you can find more information about any of these topics by clicking onto their corresponding graphics. So just as an example, I'm going to pick prison reform. It's happened to show up here on the screen. And when you do, you get to a splashdown page for that topic. So any of those that you click onto, you'll get their individual resource page for that particular topic. So this one happens to be an issue called prison reform. It's listed up here at the top. If you come down, you're going to see a little summary of what that particular topic is dealing with. So that gives you some background information on that topic. And then underneath, it'll take that larger, broader issue and it will take it into a statement that you can argue pro and con against. In this particular case, the argument is about whether rehabilitation programs are effective with prisons. There's some people that would have the viewpoint, and viewpoint number one, that would say that rehabilitation will reduce recidivism, whether or not inmates are locked up and let out and locked up and come back again. They want to decrease people from going in and out of prison. That's recidivism, and decrease the amount of taxpayer money that's spent to maintain the currently overcrowded prisons. The other viewpoint is that prisons should be used to punish criminals and to ensure public safety and not to enhance the personal growth of inmates. So you can have people that could argue two sides of that particular issue. What this company does is it will take articles that have been originally published in print. Now, primarily, what we're talking about are print publications, things that had been newspaper articles, printed in different newspapers, magazine articles, and also you'll hear this term journals. There's some research that are published in journals, and those are articles that you can read. So these three links that are on the left, these three links that are on the right are for different articles. I'm going to click one of the article titles and it's going to bring me to a page where I could read it. I can read the entire article full text as it was in that publication. Now, where did it come from? At the top of the screen, it's telling us the name of the article. Let's not repeat the crime waves of the past. It was written by a person named Fred Barnes. So that's your author, and then it's came from a resource called the Weekly Standard. Now, that's a publication that comes out, and if you had that in hand, you could open it up and read it. We just have taken that article, instead of allowing it to be available in print, we now have it accessed online, and you can read it anywhere, anytime by coming into Service Issues Researcher. Now, this particular article was published at the end of 2018, so the date is there. And all that information is really good because it can help you cite or tell your instructor where you got your information from. The great thing about our resources at Gaston College and the library is that we have the citations done for you. So if you come over to the right-hand side, under Use This Document, there's several different options, but I want your eye to gravitate towards the quotation symbol where it says Cite. If you click Cite, your MLA citation is done for you. You can switch this to APA citation if you need to. So your MLA and APA citations are already done for you to where you have access to them to copy and paste and put them into your paper. So that's a great added value that the company has available for you. So what is a citation? A citation is just a simple way of telling your instructor where you got your information from, and it's done in a very structured way. So I mentioned that Fred Barnes was the writer, so you'll put the author's last name, comma, first name with a period at the end. When you're typing in the title of the article itself, you're going to put that in quotations with a period at the end. In italics, the Weekly Standard, that is the publication name, and that came over here from this field, but they put it over here in this box for you, so it's already done. The date was 24th of December, 2018. Service Issues Researcher is the name of the database that you got it from, or library resource. And then you have a direct link back to this resource so that an instructor or a student or anyone else that reads your paper, if they see the citation, they could use that link to go back to the original source and read it of where you got your information from. So that creates great added value to have the citations done for you. I don't know if anybody's ever done a Google search and you found a free web page. Doesn't really have the citations done for you. You kind of have to figure that out on your own. But here, the citations are already done for you. The other great thing about this particular company, I'm going to arrow this back, is that not only it takes articles and it puts it in this pro-con of a particular issue, but if you come down underneath, and all of the pages will have this, they'll correspond with whatever topic you've picked. But if you want to find more than the 6 articles, if you click Find More Sources for Prison Reform or for whatever you've selected, you're going to be able to find tons and tons more articles available to you to read. Click onto any of them, and you're going to have the full text. of that article displayed, sometimes with the graphics that were included. And so that's going to be available for you here in SIRS Issues Researcher. Another thing that the database allows you to do, if you click the listen button at the top, it will actually read the article to you. And if I go back a screen, just to show you something about the list of resources you got back, on the left-hand side, this thing that says source type, that's heads up information just to let you know where this stuff is coming from. There are various different types of sources. Primarily, most of the hits you're going to get back in this company's database are things from newspapers and magazines. You're going to see that with prison reform, we had 1,500 articles from newspapers and 1,100 from magazines. And if you just wanted to read the magazine articles, if you click this link that says newspapers, the only ones that come back are going to be newspaper articles. And if I unselect that, I could click magazines, and I would only get magazines to come back. So you can select certain type of information if you want to. Occasionally, you do have structures who will tell you that they want you to find information from journals. If that's the case, then when you get a list of hits back like this in a library resource and you only want to look at the journals, then go to your source type and select journals or scholarly journals as the only things you want to get back. And you will only see the scholarly journals. Now, scholarly journals are where research is published. And so that can be very jargony in some ways. It can be very high level. It's usually written for researchers by researchers. And they use a thing called peer review to review the research that is sent to their publication. Sometimes you will hear an instructor use the term peer review, and peer review publications and scholarly journals are basically the same type of thing. I'm going to show you in another one of our databases where you can select peer-reviewed journals so that you can see that there's an option there where you can just see the peer-reviewed journals. And that's in the next resource that I'm going to show you. This one, SIRS Issues Researcher, is a really great place to get started. I'm going to click onto the home page and get back there again. And again, you can explore all the different topics, the different categories here. This is a great place to get ideas for research. Now, some of you may look at some of these trending topics and you may think, wow, that's great. That's something I'm interested in. You click onto it, you've got now a lot of articles, you've got the citations for the articles, so those are sources you can use for your paper. But some of you may be working on an assignment topic and you don't really see or show up. I'm going to show you that there's another place that you can go to find additional resources, whether you find your topic here or not. If you come back to that guided page that I created, we clicked this tab that says selected topics. But if you come over to the right of that, there's a little drop down menu that says how to. The first thing it says is how to find books. But if you look underneath, it says how to. I want you to look at the middle choice that says how to find articles. When you click that, it's going to take you to this page. Now, of the three choices that are here on this page, we've already looked at SIRS Issues Researcher. But if you come up to the link that's right above it called ProQuest Central, this is an extremely huge, powerful database that includes articles from newspapers, from journals, more than what SIRS Issues Researcher even contains. There's many more publication titles, many more articles, and also for journals and for journal searching, this is where primarily most of our research journals are located. So if I had a student who came in and said that they were looking for journal information, I would take them to ProQuest Central first instead of SIRS Issues Researcher. If you click on the ProQuest Central, it's going to take you to the following page, and you can conduct a search. If I come in with the same topic and type in prison reform, I can put that in. One of the things you're going to notice is I put that in quotations. That's just to keep the topic found together as a hit. And right off the bat, we got 34,000 hits. That's a lot of stuff that came back. So there are different ways in which you can narrow your research down if you want to. A lot of that is going to be on the keywords that you use. And the more specific keyword terms you use to search for, the lower the hit count is going to be that comes back. I'll give you an example of that. So maybe we were interested in issues that deal with prison reform, but we don't really want articles that talk about other states other than North Carolina. I'm really going to focus on prison reform issues in this state. Now, the way to do that is logic might dictate that if there's an article that an author has written that talks about prison reform, they're going to probably have the term prison reform in the article. So we're searching for that. But if they're exclusively talking about North Carolina or our state of North Carolina, they probably going to mention the state in the article too. So what I can do is and in the state name. Don't have to capitalize it. You do if you write a paper, but not when you're searching. Still putting that in quotations just to keep the two words side by side. And now asking for any articles dealing with prison reform and North Carolina, now I'm down to 1,000 hits. Still a large number, but not as many as the first hit count that we got. And the more things you and in together to your search string, the less hits you're going to get back. Now, this may look a little funky or weird that I actually wrote the word and in between the two terms. That's just a term that just lets the database know I want to find this and I want to find this in the same article. The more things you can and in together, the more nouns you're looking for, the more descriptive place names, proper names of things that you're looking for, the more specific in the hit return that you're going to get back. And this is the meat of research. This is really what's going to help you become a good researcher or not, is by selecting the correct vocabulary you need. Folks, one of the best ways of doing that to build up the vocabulary is read about your topic. You've got to do a little bit of background research and reading on your topic to get the good keywords you need to search. Because, folks, if you go in with broad searches in your search field, you're going to get way too many hits to come back. So get yourself grounded and think about what you want to write about initially, and then look for the resources that can help you build your argument. That's the way to become a better researcher, is to read about your topic, get your mind focused around what you want to say to your audience, and then look for those articles that help support your claim. If you put the cart before the horse and you only look for the topic first, that might yield too many hits and you can become frustrated really quickly. Now, the hits that we've got back, we've got full text hits. Any of these that you click onto is going to give you the whole article. I'm going to click onto one just as a random choice. So the whole article is here. Again, just like SIRS Issues Researcher, on the right-hand side, there's a cite button. If you click it, there's your citation for MLA. Copy and paste it and put it into your paper. If I go back a screen, just like SIRS Issues Researcher, it will tell you from the hits where you got your stuff from. And scholarly journals, we had 344 hits. Now, I told you there's another term for scholarly journals. It's called peer-reviewed. If you only want journal articles to come back, you can either click this link or you could check this box that says peer-reviewed, and you'll only get those articles to come back. Sometimes you'll get a graphic here with each hit that says scholarly journal, or you'll have the journal title or cover displaying here in this field. Now, that is if an instructor is asking you just to find peer-reviewed journals. Outside of that, you could look at anything that we have coming back. The great thing about the library is the resources are things you can trust. They're from reputable places. And that kind of answers a lot of questions from an instructor when they say, I really don't want to find you to find things that are just on the web or just Googling things. What they're meaning is just finding things when you're Googling, the free resources that are out there, because anybody can get space on the internet, put information out there. It's much harder to get published. Even though we're using the internet to get access to these resources online, we're still getting them from traditional library resources that are published. So they meet a higher threshold, and so they're better, more reputable information for you to use. Now, When you're finished with this particular resource, you can come back over to the guide. And I showed you under the how-to how to find articles. We already looked at Service Issues Researcher and ProQuest Central. Let's talk about a couple other unique things available to you underneath this streaming videos. If you click it, we have access to something called Films on Demand. It's a really powerful resource. If you click this graphic or click the link underneath, that's going to open up into Films on Demand, and you do a keyword search on 45,000 titles that we have available. If I stick with the same thing of prison reform, I can put that in as a search. And you can see we're going to get some hits that are dealing with that topic: prison reform early 18th century, prison reform here, 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 all the way down. And you can click onto any of these, and it's going to take you to the splashdown page for that particular video. Video will display here. You can hit play, and the video will start up and play, and it'll be available in closed captioning. So if you want to turn closed captioning on, you can do that, and it will have the text overlaid so that you can see the text right here. The other thing that this has, which I think is really neat, is on the right-hand side, they've included transcripts. So this is the text of everything within the video. In fact, if you click on a certain sections, it will take you to that section and read the article, or I'm sorry, the video as you're watching it. What makes this kind of a neat thing is if you were taking a quotation from somebody who said something important within the video, it's a lot easier to come back over to the transcript and highlight it and copy and paste that particular quotation that you want to get and put that into your paper than it is to listen to the video, and then if you forget a word or something doesn't sound right, you got to play it back again. So the transcript allows you to have that full text, running text, so you can see everything that's written, what comes before, what comes after, instead of just what's offered in closed captioning. So I think it's a powerful tool to have available to you. Another thing that's available to you is a cite resource. So if you click cite underneath, your MLA citation is done for you. Copy and paste it. It's done. It's already available. APA is available as well. Pretty easy for you to go in and manipulate. Great database. Has 45,000 streaming videos available to you. Folks, we have DVDs here at the Gaston College and Library, but we do not have anything that rivals 45,000 titles. So this is a really great place to get video titles as Films on Demand. Back at the resource page underneath, if you're looking for statistical information, you can click this link. Now there's two links that are here, Statista and Statistical Abstract of the US. I'll let you play around with Statistical Abstract on your own, but Statista is a pretty powerful database. When you click it, it goes to its homepage, and from here you can conduct keyword searching on things that you're interested in. If I stay with the topic of prison reform, we can see what types of statistics might come back dealing with prison reform issues. And let me just type that in again. I think I went too fast when I was typing. So we've got some hits that have come back, and we can click onto those statistics, read that information, and in some cases you have what, like this one, you have graphics that you can take and you can put it into a PowerPoint presentation if you want to, if you're needing to make a visual point about something. Those are typically called infographics. Now you can search for things by keyword, but if you come up to the top of the screen and click infographics, this is just some example infographics that they've set up that talk about different types of issues, like even this one that's talking about the bleak outlook for movie theaters. You know, we're trying to open up the economy again. Movie theaters have been closed, but here's some data talking about people who are considering going back to movies. And if perhaps this was something you were interested in, not only does it have the graph bar of the data, but it even has this little film reel graphic over in the side. And it's done in a very visually pleasing way. So that's what infographics are. You can still find those if you do Google searches and do Google image searches. You can find some things called infographics and get statistical information that way. But I think Statistic would be a good place for you to go to play around with and get some very unique resources and information for your paper. Now back on the guide, if you come over, and you'll see that we do have up above finding statistics, streaming videos and articles, is a link to ebooks. And if you click it, you're going to see a link for NC Live ebooks collection, and you can conduct an ebook search if you need to. So if I stick with prison reform again, I can get a lot of ebooks on that particular topic, and all of these are in full text, so that when you click onto them, they're going to bring you the full text of that particular book. It's no different than getting a book in the library. You got the whole book available to you. I'm going to type in Gaston College here. You can ask it to remember your institution. And once you get to this page, you can click Read Online, and it's going to begin with the cover of the book. You can come over here to the table of contents and click onto it. I'll take you to different sections of the book. If you want to cite this book, you've got a quotation symbol up here at the top. There's your MLA citation. So it's already done for you. This is really powerful. It's really great to have this available to you, because you now have access to a ton of books that are available to you from the Gaston College's library. Now, I want to point out something to you while you're searching for things. You may have noticed, I don't know if you really paid attention to this or not, sometimes when I went to a resource, there was a little graphic that displayed that said NC Live. And that's a graphic that comes up when you're clicking on to Source Issues Research or ProQuest, some of the other resources. And those are telling you that it's coming from a consortium called NC Live. That's where all libraries in North Carolina have access to the same resources, and you have access to the same things that other four-year schools in the state have access to. And so that's done by a pay-for account. So when you're off campus and you're clicking these links, you are probably going to see an authentication box come up. Now that box looks like this. If you come up with a username and password box, that's the same as your Blackboard login. Now the username for Blackboard, I know now you have to type in your whole web email address, but it's just the first part. Before the @ symbol is what you put for your username, and the password is usually capital G, capital C, #, and your student ID number. And once you have that in effectively, you can go in and search. But here's another little hint and tip. GC, like Gaston College, NC, like North Carolina Live, GCNC Live. Here, I'm even going to type it for you. GCNC Live. If I type that in the username and the password field, that's going to take me into. So we encourage you to log in as yourself, but if you run into any problems, anyone can use this generic login of GCNC Live for the username and password, and that's going to let you in. Now, back on this page, I have some other tabs available for you, like evaluating websites. This is just general information to help you out when you are Google searching, to kind of ask questions of yourself to say, does this meet certain criteria to be useful for my research? You want to think of things dealing with, what website does this come from? Is it an organization? Is it a government website? Is it a .com or commercial use? Even things like, when was this information posted to the web? Is it older information? Is it newer? Does it have a date associated with it? So there's a lot of different things that you need to be aware of. And over here on the left are some videos that you could take a look at to give you more information about that. Sometimes you'll hear terms about plagiarism. To avoid plagiarism, to make sure you're citing things correctly, we have plagiarism videos here, charts that are here to help you out with that. There's also a politically charged term, but it's called fake news. Folks, I'm not using politics at all in this. I just want to tell you an example of how you need to watch out for social media and things that are posted on social media. So I'm going to use an example that has originally been something that was sent out to folks. Now, by using this example, it is going to bring up a politician, someone running for president currently right now. Well, I'm not trying to make any political point. I'm only trying to point out that there is some information that gets sent out and it's doctored and changed, and it may not really be the most truthful information sent. So I'm going to come over to this particular video and play just the beginning part. Now, if you look at this particular video, this is a man named Harry Belafonte, who is a famous singer, and he's being interviewed. This is actual real video. It came out in 2011. Mr. Belafonte has claimed that he was meditating at the time, was not asleep. But this was a viral video. It was sent out. It was kind of funny. People, kind of joke about it and laughed about it. But then recently, in the last week or so, people have taken this video and doctored it into something that looks like this. So that video was taken, it was doctored, it was manipulated, it was sent out on social media. And you can even see here it was even sent out by a White House social media director named Dan Scavino. And it wasn't real. Now, if you look at the video, I don't know, most people I think would probably say, oh, it's funny, kind of making fun of somebody. Maybe if it's not real, maybe they think that's something that could have happened. One of the things is that this is just an example of the types of things that can sometimes be sent out on social media. Some we can kind of probably figure out that it might not be real, but there's a lot of stuff that's being sent out there and manipulated that isn't real at all. And it's only used to manipulate people. So you really have to be very careful about that information that you get back from social media sites. And so I encourage you to take a look at the video that I've created about fake news on the guide page, to give you some examples. And he also give you some websites that you can look at to fact check people to find whether or not something is real or not. Um, Unfortunately, in this day and age, social media is just not the place that you want to rely on to get your information. Last thing is that, of course, if you're citing information, we have a citation tool here for MLA citation, APA citation. When you click onto it, it's a very complete and thorough citation guide to show you how to cite various things. Of course, I told you that in our databases, the journal articles, magazine articles, those we already kind of have the citations done for us. But I want to point out a unique thing. There's a lot of different things that you can cite, but one of the things you can do is cite interviews that you can have with people. You could interview somebody in person, you could interview them through email, you could interview them on the phone, and that might be some good information, some firsthand information that you might want to include in the paper to make a particular point. You see, sources can come in all different forms. A lot of times we think about writing a paper and the instructor is telling you to find sources. Sources typically, they're probably wanting you to go to books, magazines, newspapers. Some of you may have used websites, but each individual one of those is a source. But interviews can also be a source too. And there's other types of information as well. So, giving you this guide, giving you all this information and all of these different tools, I think this can get you started and get you on your way with finding information to help you out with this class and for other classes as well too. Again, if you have any problems with anything, please come see us. We'll be glad to help you out. And of course, we do also have our chat feature available too. Hope you have a wonderful day and happy research. Goodbye.